Who was Bob Ross, really? Not the meme. Not the happy little trees loop on YouTube. Not the soft-spoken uncle energy that plays in the background while you try to sleep. The real man. Because the first shock is this. Bob Ross was a master sergeant in the United States Air Force. 20 years in uniform. Authority. Command. Discipline. And by his own admission, a lot of yelling. He once said something brutally honest. I was the guy who makes you scrub the latrine, the guy who makes you stand in the rain. I was hard. I was tough. That's not a gentle art teacher origin story. So the real question becomes, how does a man go from shouting orders to whispering about clouds? Is that even possible? Or is it an act? Let's slow this down. When Ross was around 18, he joined the military. In the 1960s, he was stationed in Alaska. Wide skies. Endless mountains. Cold silence. That landscape would later show up again and again in his paintings. Snow peaks, pine trees, mist rolling through valleys. He began painting there, not as a career, not as a brand, as something to do, a hobby. At some point in the 1970s, he saw a television painter named Bill Alexander demonstrating a technique called wet on wet, fast, efficient, immediate results, perfect for television. Ross studied under him, learned the technique, practiced, refined it, and eventually built his own show around it. The joy of painting. But technique doesn't explain the voice. The voice is the mystery. Here's the key detail. Ross openly admitted he yelled a lot in the military. He said he didn't like the man he had to be. He didn't like that role, and then he made a decision. He said, in essence, I will never yell again. That's not random personality drift. That's a conscious line in the sand. Now pause. People often think change is emotional, or dramatic, or mystical. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes change is a discipline. He didn't wake up soft. He chose softness. That doesn't mean he became weak. It means he redirected force. And here's something important. Softness on screen does not equal softness in every domain of life. Behind the scenes, Ross co-founded a company, Bob Ross Inc., with Annette and Walt Kowalski. There were contracts, licensing agreements, brand control. He was reportedly strict about how instructors represented his method. Standards mattered. Consistency mattered. That doesn't mean he was secretly a tyrant. It means he understood structure. And structure is not the opposite of kindness. We tend to think in binaries, soft or strong, kind or powerful, spiritual or strategic. But real humans are layered. The military likely gave him discipline, repetition, procedural thinking. Watch any episode of his show. The format is precise. The sequence is predictable. The timing is controlled. That's not chaos. That's training. What changed wasn't his capacity for authority. What changed was how he used it. He could yell. He had yelled. He decided not to. That's different from someone who never had power. There's a big difference between being harmless and being gentle. Harmless means you can't hurt anyone. Gentle means you could, but you choose not to. That's maturity. And this is where people often romanticize. They turn figures like Ross into saints. They expect total purity. But no human is one-dimensional. Not prophets. Not political leaders. Not artists. We project perfection onto calm figures. Then we feel betrayed when we find complexity. But complexity is the point. Ross never claimed to be enlightened. He never preached ideology. He never tried to save the world. He painted trees. And he said, there are no mistakes, just happy accidents. That line sounds simple. It's not. It's a cognitive reframe. It lowers fear. It reduces performance anxiety. It gives permission. In a culture obsessed with optimization and competition, that's radical. Was painting the thing that changed him? Maybe not directly. It's possible the decision to change came first. Painting became the vehicle. Art can be therapy, but it can also be a container. If you want to be different, you need an environment that reinforces the new version of you. For Ross, that environment was a canvas, the repetitive motion of the brush, the sound of the knife scraping paint, the rhythm of layering color. That's regulation. That's nervous system recalibration. But again, this wasn't accidental drift. He built a character. Not a fake persona, a selected identity. He amplified one part of himself. No one is 24/7 Zen, but you can decide which side you feed. He fed the quiet side, and here's something uncomfortable. If you gave most people authority again, under pressure, would they revert? Would he have reverted? We don't have dramatic exposes from former soldiers describing a hidden gentle saint. We mostly have his own words. He said he was hard. He didn't like it. He chose differently. That honesty matters. He didn't rewrite his past. He admitted it. Real transformation doesn't erase the shadow. It integrates it. The soldier didn't die. He became the gardener. And the discipline of the soldier shows up in the precision of the painter. So was he perfect? No. After his death, disputes over the company and brand rights became controversial. His son wanted to continue the legacy in certain ways, but legal control remained with the company. That's business. That's not mystical. Humans are never purely symbolic. But here's the deeper layer. Why does he feel real? Because he didn't ask you to believe anything. He didn't ask for devotion. He didn't demand moral alignment. He didn't sell transcendence. He simply demonstrated a tone, and tone is powerful. The loud world makes quiet rare. Quiet feels sacred. He wasn't politically elevated. He wasn't spiritually canonized. He was just consistent. Consistency over time builds trust. And trust feels like authenticity. So the bigger question is not, did Bob Ross truly change? The bigger question is, can someone with power choose restraint? Can someone conditioned for dominance choose softness? The evidence suggests yes, not magically, not flawlessly, but deliberately. Goodness is not ignorance of self-interest. It's long-term orientation. You can manipulate people and win fast, or you can build something that outlives you. Ross's military rank is forgotten. His calm voice still circulates the globe. That's not accidental. So maybe the transformation wasn't from harsh to pure. Maybe it was from unconscious role to conscious choice. He didn't become an angel. He became intentional. And maybe that's the most realistic kind of change there is. Now ask yourself, if you had full authority tomorrow, would you default to control, or would you choose calm? Because the soldier and the painter probably both live inside you. The question is not which one exists. The question is which one you train.